Hey there, ecologists. Welcome back to science class. Today we are moving on to lesson 3, matter makes it all up. And that is giving you a clue to what we are talking about today. Matter makes it all up. So what we are going to do is read a book to learn what is made of matter and how matter flows through an ecosystem, just like we've been talking about. Back to ecosystems, how matter flows to an ecosystem, and we're going to apply this understanding to food chains. Food chains are the diagrams that we've been looking at on our warm-ups. So for our first warm-up, when we had the rabbit eating the grass and we had the owls eating things, that was a food chain. On our last warm-up, when we had the krill and the sea lions and the zooplankton and the fish and the crabs, that was also a food chain. So your assignment today is going to be to apply what we learn during this video to a food chain. Now, before we get started, I want to watch this video with you of baby pandas at the zoo. They start off very, very small and they grow. And your job during this video is to think, how do animals like these baby pandas grow their bodies? So I want you thinking about that while you watch this video.
The twins have grown and grown and grown. They changed from tiny pink newborns to big, furry, robust cubs. Over the first 25 days, the cubs develop their black and white markings, grow a full coat of fur, and gain weight rapidly. They are currently working very hard to learn to walk, and they have started to play with Loon and each other. It has been amazing to watch them change and develop for the first 100 days of their lives, and this is only the beginning.
All right, so as you saw during that super cute video of those baby pandas, they grew every single day. And today we are talking to understand, how do animals like these baby pandas grow their body? Now, some things are small, but we can still see them with our eyes. Other things are too small for us to see with our eyes, like this molecule here. So here we see a heart, some other objects like an ice cube, That's small. This here is a hair follicle. If you look at your arms, you can see little pieces of hair on your body. But this right here is a molecule. It's so tiny that it can't be seen through a microscope. And if you go even further into a molecule, you see atoms, which are even tinier pieces that make up molecules. That is what we are learning about today. So I want you to keep that in your brain. Now, you don't need to write these down. I want you to just think about these statements, okay? Before we read, I want you to think if you agree or disagree with these statements. And then while we read, we're going to answer these questions. So the first statement is, some things are made of molecules and other things are made of matter. Do you agree or disagree with that statement? Right now, you might not know, but I want you to take a guess. Do you agree or disagree with the statement? Some things are made of molecules and others are made of matter. The next statement, only living things are made of matter. Do you agree or disagree? Again, you might not know, but I want you to think about it. Only living things are made of matter. The next one is, animals can't grow if they don't eat food. Do you agree or disagree with that statement? Animals can't grow if they don't eat food. The next statement is, food is made of matter. Do you agree or disagree? And the last one, all the matter an animal eats is added to its body. Do you agree or disagree? As we read, you are going to think about the question, how do animals grow? And think back to these statements to see if we can find evidence to answer those questions. I also want you thinking about these questions as we explore the book together. The first one is, animals need matter to grow. Where does this matter come from? And besides using it to grow, what two other things can happen to food molecules that enter an animal's body? All right. At first glance, an ecosystem may seem like a bunch of unrelated things that just happen to be in the same place. Different kinds of animals are running, swimming, or flying around. Plants are growing in various shapes and sizes. Besides all these living organisms, there are also non-living parts in an ecosystem, like rocks, water, and air. How are these parts connected? For example, think of some parts in a Florida swamp ecosystem. What do a rock, a cypress tree, an alligator, and a heron really have in common? An ecologist is a scientist who studies ecosystems. To an ecologist, the parts of an ecosystem have something very important in common. And here it is, so focus. The parts of an ecosystem have something very important in common. In fact, you could say they are all the same deep down. All parts of an ecosystem are made of matter. I'm going to say it one more time because that's our big thing. All the parts of an ecosystem are made of matter. Matter makes up the air, water, soil, rocks, animals, plants, and everything else. So if we go back to this here, some things are made of molecules and other things are made of matter. I disagree because page 5 tells me that all things are made of matter. Only living things are made of matter. Do you agree or disagree? You should disagree because all things are made of matter. So we're picking up right here. Matter is made up of tiny atoms that are too small to see. There are many different kinds of atoms, and these atoms can combine to form a huge number of different kinds of molecules. So atoms form together to make molecules, and individually, atoms and molecules are too small to see. However, billions and trillions of atoms and molecules together can make up a rock, a tree, a bird, and even an alligator. What does it really mean, though, to say that an animal is made of matter? If you could look inside the body of an alligator, you would see muscles, bones, blood, and different body systems. All of the parts of an alligator are made of matter. All right, for example, let's zoom in on a muscle. The muscle is made up of smaller parts. Those smaller parts are made up of even smaller parts, which are made up of molecules. These molecules are made up of atoms. It's all matter. So living things and non-living things, everything is made up of matter, made up of molecules and atoms, which is all matter. All right. A full-grown alligator may weigh 360 kilograms, which is 800 pounds. That's a lot of matter. Where does it all come from? How does an alligator grow to be so big? So now I'm thinking back to the panda video. How do animals grow? Alligators and other animals never stop growing, including humans. Even an adult animal that has stopped getting bigger keeps growing new skin and blood. If an animal gets wounded or breaks a bone, its body can grow to repair the damaged parts. All that new bone, muscle, blood, and skin doesn't just appear from nothing. Since an animal is made of matter, when it grows, it needs more matter to add to its bones, muscles, and other parts. That is how animals grow. So let's go back. Oop, we're not there yet. One more. Here we go. The new matter needed for growth comes from what an animal eats. Food is also made of matter. When an animal eats food, it's eating billions and billions of atoms and molecules. These atoms and molecules are all matter that the animal uses to grow. Inside the animal's body, the food molecules are broken down and used to build new molecules that make up bone, blood, muscles, skin, and other body parts. Here we go. So now we can go back to these statements. We already took care of the first two. Animals can't grow if they don't eat food. Do you agree or disagree? I agree with that one. This book is telling me that animals have to eat food to get matter to be able to grow. The next statement, food is made of matter. Do you agree or disagree? You should be agreeing because everything, yes, everything, living things and non-living things, everything is made of matter. Not all the matter that an animal eats gets added to the animal's body. Some of the matter isn't used by the animal. The matter ends up as different kinds of waste, including droppings. More important, the animal uses some of the food matter to get energy. Animals need energy to move and do all the things animals do. When an animal uses matter to get energy, that matter is changed and released as gases into the air. So that's where we're going to stop with this book today, but let's go back and finish this last statement. All the matter that an animal eats is added to its body. I disagree. We just read that some of the matter turns into droppings, ew, and the other part is turned into energy. So let's talk about these questions here. Animals need matter to grow. Where does this matter come from? I want you to think about it. Let's look back at page 10. Where does matter come from that animals need to grow? It comes from food. You should be saying food right now. The matter comes from food that the animal eats. All right, and then our second question, besides using it to grow, what two other things can happen to food molecules that enter an animal's body? We just talked about this right here. What are the two other things? I'm going to give you a second to look. What are the two other things that happen to the matter that enters an animal's body? Some ends up as waste, including droppings, and the other is energy. Awesome. So, matter is the stuff that everything, including an ecosystem, is made of. A molecule is a group of atoms joined together in a particular way. Molecules are tiny bits of matter that are too small to see. These tiny bits, these molecules, form together to make matter. And matter makes everything. Not just living things, matter makes everything. So, I want you to think of some of the things that are mentioned in the book that are made out of matter, and what can we say about all organisms. So think, what are some things in the book that are made of matter? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think about it. And based on what we read in Matter Makes It All Up, what can we say about all organisms? I want you to keep those things in mind and remember that everything is made of matter. All right. Now, based on what we learned today, think, how are these baby pandas able to grow? And you are going to head over to your classwork tab to answer these questions that are asking you about matter, okay? So I want you to look at this diagram here. Amira says that the snowshoe hare, plants, golden eagle, raindrops, and sun are all made of matter. Javier says that the snowshoe hare, plants, and golden eagle are made of matter because they're all living organisms, but the raindrops and sun are not matter. You are going to go to the classwork tab to lesson 1.3, and you're going to answer these questions using this diagram and what we've talked about today. Which student do you agree with, Amira or Javier? You're going to tell me who you agree with. Amira says everything in this picture is made of matter, the animals, the raindrops, the plants, and the sun. And Javier says just the animals and plants are made of matter because they're living things. Who do you agree with, and tell me why? And then you're going to explain how the matter in the leaves of these plants can one day end up in the body of this eagle. I want you to be very specific, telling me how could the matter in these plants end up in the body of the eagle. I can't wait to see what you guys think on your assignment, and I will see you next time.